Hello everybody, this is Johnny S with another Happy Game review. Again today we're gonna be talking about Path of Exile 2. I made a couple of videos and unfortunately they were not as positive. The first one was like a first impression video, the second one was more like what I thought about the game and you know how tragic it was, a lot of disappointment about many different things in the game. There was a lot of controversy on the channel, there were a lot of people for it, there was a lot of people against it, there was a lot of dislikes, let's say, possibly because of the title, possibly because of the rating. These are all details, you're focusing on the wrong thing. So I'm going to start off by addressing a couple of these things because people are a little bit, you know, whatever. You're focusing on the wrong thing, you know what I mean? Don't get your panties in a twist because you saw 4 out of 10, you gotta bash the guy, and whatever an idiot you are, that's 4 out of 10, no 4.2, yeah, okay, chill the fuck out. Each one of us has a different perception, a different idea, a different opinion. At the current state, 5 out of 10 will have been just a best game, which doesn't really do anything good, but doesn't simultaneously do anything bad. The fact that I was stuck, and I don't want to swear, I'll try to keep it more civil, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to manage. The fact that I was stuck, that there was no incentive at the point of play, as per my personal experience in the game, and it's got nothing to do with personal, like, because there were some silly comments. It's not like I believe that GGG is out there against me, you know what I mean, or for any player that is against us. They've got their specific design direction, let's say. They're trying to accommodate for the mass majority of the market. Obviously you're not going to be able to please anyone, and the main point, some of the main points from the video that I wanted people to focus, they did not focus on them. You know what I mean? The biggest thing that I mentioned about the game was the difficulty, and it was the number one, and I started from that. And people started going silly and spastic, and like if it's skill and it's not skill and it's this and that. It's like okay, you assume to presume a lot about the guy that makes a video from one video, you know what I mean, which is moronic. And obviously if we're in real life you will not speak like that. I also had a lot of negative comments. I had negative comment from a guy in Greek. That's another thing which is silly. You're watching a video in English. For you to watch it in English, it means you can speak English, you can hear English, write in English, so everybody else can see what you're saying. But because you're more confident and you want to play it like cool and shit, you start swearing, you know what I mean? And with the first sentence that you write, like, you gotta be a really degenerate, immature brain. I don't care if you're 13 years old or if you're 50 years old. The way that you respond on the social media shows your true maturity. Okay, so you're responding as an 11-year-old. When you start off like, how much of a wanker are you, man, 4 out of 10 for poor? You're a fucking idiot. You've lost the whole argument. Nobody is going to take you serious. No one is going to respond to that. And if you were in real life, you will not say to the other guy, good morning, oh, what a fucking idiot you are. If you start like that, you ain't gonna have a conversation. You ain't gonna have a discussion. But because social media is like, you know, faceless, everybody writes their own shit. If you want to write something, write it properly. Explain your idea and the reasons behind. There was another comment, was like trash on a trash channel. Yeah, okay, dude, thanks very much. You don't like it, fuck off. And unfortunately, there's a lot of people that get discouraged by this. Obviously, as per my age and as per my experiences, this don't touch me. They don't even like touch me at all, you know what I mean? I've been through worse shit, you know what I mean? To sit here and get worried about comments and the social and all that bullshit, you know what I mean? I've got nothing to lose, I'll put it as simple as that, and these things do not touch me. But the fact that you spend time for that is a little bit ridiculous, you know what I mean? And I noticed that I took, how can I say it? I kind of got dragged into it, let's say, when it comes to making like the responding and all that, you know what I mean? Obviously I'm not gonna like get up in the morning and it's like, oh, what have they written about me? You know, I don't give a fuck. I'll put it as simple as that. But I did find myself spending a lot of time. And you're going to say, okay, like you wrote 3-4 comments and stuff. At some point I knew that this was going to happen. The more people you get and the more famous the channel becomes, the more viewers you have, the more subscriptions you have. Obviously you have the positive and you have the negative also. The fact that it's growing, and it's good that it's growing, but again, that's not my target. Like I said, this is just a hobby. This is just me speaking, and even if I get 10 views on this video, I don't mind. You know what I mean? I don't mind. I do like the fact that we have comments And I do like people sharing nice comments, you know what I mean? There's been a lot of comments, whether it's my bike videos, my game videos, whatever, which are positive. People have asked for help, people have asked questions on specific topics. I might say this is like this, and somebody will write, what exactly did you mean by that? Or, you know, at 14 something you said this, what did you mean? So there's a nice thing. And obviously you have the guests like go learn how to ride and then talk about bikes. If you take it personally, you don't like the game, okay, 6 out of 10, not 4 out of 10, oh, 0.2, okay, dude, okay, 0.2, we got it. Like, I'm as much as fan as the next guy, you know what I mean? But on the current state of the game, on the current personal experience, that was my rating. You know what I mean? And don't get your mind fixed on a 4 out of 10, a 5 out of 10, a 6 out of 10. The whole point and the whole concept is that it's bad, it's negative, it's below base, it's below expectations, to the point that it might make someone get discouraged, and especially a new player. And this is what I want to talk about. Don't see things only from your perspective. When I make a video, I talk with many different people, I watch different videos from a vast variety of players. I don't care if 90% believe this and 10% believe something else. What do I care about? And I advise this to everybody. Those 90% players that love the game, what type of things do they love about it? Collect those 5 things, put them on the side. That 10%, even though it's a small percentage, what things do they hate about the game? Another 5 things, another 10 things. Take those 10 things, put them in. You're left with 20 things. Judge those 20 things, agree with some, don't agree with others, don't agree with others. The majority of the people, or how the market is driven, makes no difference when you're talking about objectivity, when you're trying to be as objective as you can. And you will never be fully objective, because this is your bias plays a role into it as well. That's why I said personal experience. But when you put these things down, then you start commenting on those. You know what I mean? To turn around and say that I don't think this game was designed for you, okay, you can say it, but it helps nothing, it improves nothing. And the point here, if you're a true fan of the whole Path of Exile franchise, the Diablo franchise, all these top isometrics, is try to offer positive comments. The things that I mentioned, every single one of those points is points for change, points that you can improve on the game, you know what I mean? The difficulty, the bosses, the animations that I mentioned. Like, I mentioned so many things that nobody's commenting on those things, you know what I mean? And that's the sad thing. But anyway, all these things that I mentioned, the map sizes, how big they are, the spawning thing, that you're dying, you're spawning again and again, and the whole concept of having a boss to reset all the time. All these are ideas, perceptions, suggestions to possible change. The dodge, the fact that you have to kite enemies both forward and backward, how strange the ascendancy is that is hidden behind specific mechanics which do not tie into your class. You could have like a nice story, you know what I mean? Like the witch will go to an underground cave, and she will find there are other witches, and you have to follow this line to unlock her ascendancy. You can make it really interesting, you know what I mean? There's millions of games that have done this. It seems as if it's a last job rushing, and I'm not here to judge and put down the developers. I'm just responding to what I see. I don't know what's happening behind, you know what I mean? There might be 10 people working their ass off 24/7, and they might not have the time for that. I cannot judge that. All I can judge is the result. It seems rushed. It seems as if they've done the whole game, and then at the end they thought, oh fuck, there's ascendances. That's what the feeling is. It might be wrong, but that's the feeling that I'm getting. And talking with some other people, they're also getting that feeling. So it can't be just random, you know what I mean? It feels as if, oh, let's put it, there was an existing mechanic of Sanctum, there's an existing mechanic of Ultimatum, let's hide them behind there. Yeah, if you do that, some classes are going to be really negative impacted, especially with the honor system that you need to be left defensive. For me personally, the Sanctum was the easiest shit on earth. Okay, the fact that I was not able to go through it is because it was too early of a stage in the game for me to fix with proper passives and currency non-existing that was dropping, which was not dropping, for me to build something that I can kind of sustain and cause damage simultaneously. I don't like to go with the meta. Whoever copy-pastes build is tragic to me. I don't have the time to dedicate many hours into watching different videos and doing all this shit what others are doing. I will have a little bit of a look of what's trending, like a couple of builds, possibly what's the most famous, let's say, but just to get an idea, you know what I mean? Like, I will see that a lot of people are playing the Fire Summoner, okay, but I didn't start making a Fire Summoner for that reason. I made a fire summoner because I just love the fucking witch, you know what I mean? I love the summoning build. I love the one build, relax, casual, have a smoke on one hand, all my controls being on one hand, you know what I mean, like the dodge and stuff, and just play that. That's what I like. I started with the essence drain and contagion. I tried to look how that works. I realized that the contagion triggering and spreading of the chaos damage over time was a little bit tricky, that you had to time it when exactly you were going to cast the contagion and the essence drain, and when the guy was going to die in order for that to spread. It was a little bit tricky, whereas I found that other skills which are there, like fire rain, like I tried the meteor skill, I tried many different skills. I found that the wall was something that is on the floor. It's damage over time. It kind of clicked into me because the arsonist's minion are also doing fire damage. So I thought, okay, maybe my damage should not be like chaos with arsonists. It should be like fire. But that was from my own thing. I did happen to have a look at a different video, and I was watching this guy that he was actually casting circles. So I thought, okay, why is my flame wall a straight line and there's no circle? So I do get influenced by all these things, but I'm not going to base my build on something that somebody has done. No, that's brain dead shit. You know what I mean? What you're doing is brain dead shit. There was another comment in the channel that was saying, you know, turn off brain equals fun. That's not fun, you know what I mean? I didn't say turn off your brain. You're obviously playing Path of Exile. You know what I mean? If you're played for many years Path of Exile 1 to the point that you've got like 100 level characters, you play, you know, the mechanics, you obviously like the, how can I say, the complexity, the depth, and that's why it has won you over Diablo, let's say, franchises, which I've also played Diablo because it's a different thing, you know what I mean? So you can't turn around to that guy and tell him, you know, how you're suggesting was turn off the brain. No, there's a place for everything. But the difficulty and the type of game should never be Dark Souls based. You know, I mean, it's a top-down isometric game. It should be simple, it should be easy. How quick you can push it, how OP you can become is a different stage. How much you want to invest in the build is a different stage. But I don't believe there should be a bad build. You know what I mean? That notion of your build sucks. That's like, think about it. Think about what you're saying. Your build sucks. It sucks. Why? This is what I like to play. You know what I mean? Like, the skill is there. I'm not supposed to use it as a skill. I'm not using the skill properly. What do you mean it sucks? I haven't known enough about the game. Yeah, obviously that's gonna come with time. And there are things which have improved. You know what I mean? So that's a little bit of, like, let's say, discussion a little bit about the whole thing. There are some points which I'm going to re-mention because people are not focusing on this. The number one is, for example, the microtransactions. Okay, so if we go to the microtransactions, you will see here, nothing is available. Even to this day, this is the first week, second week. I've bought all these things and they're not available. This is an immersion thing. I've got one weapon here. This is an immersion thing. Okay, me being able to customize my character is immersive. It's role playing. Learn the terminology. When we talk about role playing, we're not talking about you will help me get into it. They delayed the game 3 weeks in order to fix that, which has not been fixed. And trying to find some information is very tragic and very limited, the sources. Where I did manage to find that they came out and they said that they were going to add this over time. Nobody talks about that. What type of score would you give to a company that delayed the game, which was so many years in the making, everyone is waiting for it, they delayed it 3 weeks in order for them to fix something which is not fixed? How would you judge that? You're not going to put the score down. It's not going to go below 5. You're hypocrites. You're hypocrites, and you get, you know, you have like a little shook attack because somebody negatively judged something. If it's negative, it's negative. And my first video, I went to the game with a clear slate, just trying to experience. I was happy about many things. I got disappointed by many things. Like, I was just, you've seen my first video clip. I don't know if you've seen it, but if you've seen it, go see it. And my approach was like neutral. I was calm. I was like, yeah, Path of Exile 2, yeah, let's fucking go. No, and I was not like, this is shit, this is shit. No, I just relaxed, tried to get immersed into it and experience for the first time. This is like that. Oh, okay, this is good. This is not good. The graphics fucking amazing. Oh, look at that, look at that. All these things play a fucking role. Okay, so 1 second. So the microtransaction is a tragic thing. Another thing which was fixed with from other peoples that they were mentioning different things is the dodge. The dodge, like let's say there was an enemy between these two rocks. Okay, these two rocks are a little bit tight. Let's say that rock that was there and that rock was there, and there was one enemy, like one skeleton there. Your mind says that I can walk through him. Okay, and you can't. You get stuck. So you roll, and you could not get past him, and then you get stuck. And there's specific stages, especially the dreadnought towards the end, that I had to play again and again and again, where enemies were like flying above you. They were leaping behind me. I was getting stuck. That whole subconscious fear of I don't want to get stuck made me overkite enemies, made the process of going through the map much more slower for my build, for my experience. Because I'm a summoner and my defenses will never be what a warrior's defenses will be or somebody else, I was very weak defensive wise. The point here is not to make myself being able to face tank something. That's not the point of how you play a summoner build. Like, if you don't understand that, then I don't know that dodge thing, that mechanic of getting stuck or not sure where I can pass or not, which, I mean, if you've designed graphically something from an aesthetic perspective and from a visual perspective, you've done a great job with everything. If you haven't fixed the collisions and you haven't fixed and things are not making sense as you see them of where you can and you can't go, that's fucking tragic. That's like 2 points off. Now if you start putting all those 2 points off, where are you gonna reach? You ain't gonna go to 4. You're not gonna go to 4. So you're having a sook attack. You know what I mean? It's not like this game doesn't do jack shit. No, it's got good elements, it's got awesome elements, it's got some unworked elements, it's got something which seems as if it was rushed, and a lot of things to be worked out as it is early access. But early access doesn't mean under development. Early access is just early access. You've passed the alpha, you've passed the beta, you've passed your early access, and you're still fine-tuning things. Now that's a very important element. And it showed, and I did not comment on the dodge. There was other people in the forum commenting on the dodge, and as I was playing the game and they fixed the dodge, I realized that it provided me more confidence of where I can be. Another thing that I want to mention is there's the different type of games and game styles. I am a solo player that takes it slow. I will not rush to the stage. I don't have any buddies to play Path of Exile 1. I don't know how people play. One possibility is that some people might group up with others. You're gonna have a totally different experience, both difficult wise, especially in the beginning. And this is where I want to talk about the current state, and we'll end the video. If you ask me now what the score is of the game, I will say about 6 to 7. Having passed the first blocking point, having passed all the frustration that the game was giving me in the sense of I'm unable to proceed, I'm getting stuck, I'm repeating a process, trying to figure out how to do that, getting past all that has brought the score and my personal experience up. So this is again my personal rating of the game in its current state, how I perceive it. Wake up. Like I mentioned to the other guy, it's not IGN score, it's Johnny S score, it's my score and my perception. And some people will listen to this and associate, others will listen to it and say, okay, I don't associate. But try to remain human, try to remain civil. You know, I mean, if you start cursing on the thing, like no matter who if you start like that, you lose the point of argument. Anyway, and another thing about the community thing that we'll get into with the current state where I am. From now on, I left the comments open, and I'm going to leave them open because I am curious to see how people respond. And I don't want to go into the process of blocking, putting filters, language filters and stuff and everything. I'm going to leave them open so that everybody can comment. But if I do see something which straight away starts with fuck it, trash this, trash that, whatever, that for example doesn't bother me. I mean, trash channel, the trash content as expected. Okay. Personal attacks such as you're a fucking idiot, we're talking about you fucking moron, that is like moronic. Yeah, I mean, you're not expecting me to respond in any way other than your mama made this. You know what I mean? You can't expect anything other than that. So those type of comments, they will get deleted straight away. Not only that will get deleted, you will be blocked from my channel. Your opinion is not going to get voiced, so it's minus on your behalf. I don't care. I've made my content. People that will see it will see it. People that will want to comment, they will comment on it. You just made a discern to yourself. That's it. your opinion will never be faced on my channel again, and you will just be blocked. It's as simple as that. And if it's very tragic, you will get a report also. You know what I mean? I do have the capability to report based on specific criteria. If you don't know about it, learn about it. You know what I mean? So that's just a little warning. From now on, whenever I see things like that, and because like I said, you can easily fall in the loophole of I'm answering to this comment, I'm answering to that comment, and I'm kind of new to the whole YouTube thing. I did have an instinct of at some point of time I ain't going to be able to respond to every single comment. Now that the channel is small, I've got a few comments only, I can do it. Later on, it might get more and more and more. At some point, I ain't going to be able to do it. And because this is a hobby, like I said, I don't make money from this, I don't make nothing. This is just a hobby. It's not monetized. I ain't going to have like a social media manager like responding to stuff. No, whatever you see on the channel is my response. From then on, in order for both you and me and for the rest of the channel to bring the quality up, because now, you know, people have going in which are not speaking Greek, and they see some guys start speaking. I know you can translate, but that's not, like, be respectful. If you want to phrase your opinion, if you realize that you're on a social platform and others will see your opinion, state it in English. You've seen an English video, state it in English. I make a Greek video, you can phrase your opinion in Greek, because the audience is targeted in Greek, or the targets are targeted in English. Be respectful, you know what I mean? And when you start cursing and you're going off, including attacks against me or attacks against other people or between users in the comments, I don't care. It just brings the quality down, you know what I mean, of the whole thing. It brings it creates a negative thing, you know what I mean? So, in order for me to do that, unfortunately, I will just block it. I'll block people straight away, delete the messages and be done with it. And your opinion will never be phrased, it will never be heard. If you're looking for clout, attention and so forth, I don't care, you will not get it. Not in this channel, at least. You go off to another channel and start, you know, cursing off. Now, how did I pass my check, the point that I got stuck? I tried with a couple of different methods. One of them was trying multiple times again and again and again. The dodge did help me gain a couple more levels. With those a couple of more levels, I looked and I had a look on the tree. I saw that I had seen from before that a lot of people were playing with energy shield, but energy shield was not making sense to me. The regeneration of the energy shield was very low in comparison to the regeneration of my life. In the previous video I was like 58 something life regeneration, and when I was setting off combat I would have seen that the energy regeneration, the energy recharge and the life regeneration was kind of like similar. So I thought to myself, why am I sitting here with an energy shield build that is kind of going like this, and the life is almost like that? My regeneration of my life is more like that. So I modified the build to change it more to life, okay, and make regeneration on the life more. But that was not doing. I was not able to sustain the damage. Then I was thinking maybe of trying to do something different, and I came upon a passive node, which I have seen no build to do this. Okay. I don't know if people are aware, and this might be a hint to everybody. There's a thought came to my mind of how can I put possibly regeneration on the energy shield, and I thought of Path of Exile 1. There's a Zealot's Oath, you can see the node here, and I thought at least if I can focus more on the energy shield, it might be easier for me, so I don't have to put so much strength on the tree. You know what I mean? Focus more on the intelligence, level up my skill gems, both damage-wise and stuff, and try to do it like that. And I look at Zealot's Oath, and Zealot's Oath on Path of Exile 2, and this is like an example, I'm not here to bash the game. Zealot's Oath on Path of Exile 2 is fucking awesome. It's what Zealot's Oath should have been in Path of Exile 1. So kudos, great work on this. Read what the text says. I don't know if people have seen this, but I saw no build use this, which was like strange to me. Excess life, recovery from the regeneration is applied to energy shield. In Path of Exile 1, as soon as you put Zealot's Oath, you permanently had the problem of your life. You were unable to regenerate life. You had to use potions all the time, which kind of made Zealot's Oath only for builds which were using zero life, okay, or builds basically non-life builds. There was no way to use Zealot's Oath on a hybrid build that was both for life and energy shield, with the exception perhaps of the Templar, where his ascendancy kind of transfers the regeneration component to also affect the energy. But even then, you did not pick Zealot's Oath, you know what I mean? Zealot's Oath or something was just like pure energy shield. Now this one makes it interesting. excess life. So if your energy shield runs out, the regeneration, let's say at the moment I've got quite a bit of regeneration. I'm on 78. I'm on 78 regeneration life recovery per second. The energy shield per second has disappeared because it takes this number. So when I'm on life, I'm getting, it's 870, I'm getting 78 regeneration all the time. Once my life goes up, max, in other words, excess life, the regeneration component starts going onto the energy shield. And the energy shield recharge is disabled. I don't care. Either way, the way that my regeneration life was going up, it was not a great detail, a great difference when it came to the recharge. It was like a little bit faster, you know what I mean? So I thought, fuck that, have a continuous recharge so there's no delay. That also makes more sense with another node that I've seen up here, which is this one here. 60% increase, that's a target that I want to go to. I saw some people use it on other builds and stuff, so like I said, I'm having a little bit of a look of what other people are using from some videos, but I'm not going to spend 1 hour a day looking at other builds. That's not the point. Just to get a little bit of this, especially now that it's new and you're still trying to find, you know, things. 60% of increased maximum energy, 20% lower start of energy shield recharge. We're not using recharge, so that to me is just a positive effect. And other people are using that even though they're taking the negative effect. The fact that I've disabled my recharge to me makes no difference. It's just purely bonus. So I don't know if people have thought about this, but you literally have 870 plus 684 as a life pool, literally life pool. Okay, I don't know how the damages play a role here. I don't know, for example, if chaos damage can bypass the energy shield and what happens there, because I know in Path of Exile 1 I have not pushed it as much, and obviously it's a new game, it's early access. I haven't acquired the knowledge of how that works. Does the chaos damage bypass the life? But in any case, as long as you're trying to get life recovery per second, which affects both, if that's high enough, whether it's damage over time that you're taking, chaos damage bypassing energy shield, whatever, as long as your life goes down, it will apply the regeneration here. You know what I mean? So even if the energy shield is full and you lose life, it should recover this. If the energy shield goes down and then life, again, it should recover this. So this is one of the most awesome nodes in my understanding, and it really is able to benefit both energy shield and hybrid builds between life and energy, because now my hit pool is huge. That is what I did in order for me to be able to sustain all the damage. Unfortunately, I did have to spend a lot of points going around here. It means that I had to take away all these things here that I had to take away all these minions here, I had to take all the regeneration here, but the regeneration was going to focus here. I started going straight from the top, which is basically the fastest way to go around this way. I was not able to put any points there. I was not able to put any points there. And once I got that and I saw that it's working, I put a little bit more energy here. And now the next steps for the build is to possibly buff up the minions. I started going this way and I'm going to get these nodes here. There's also an easy way to go up this way and buff up your minions further. Let's type minions here on the build. So as you can see, there's a lot of minion nodes really close. I can go by here to this minion node. I can go to this minion node by here. I can access this minion either from the top side if I want to focus on the damage, or I can go here and play a hybrid. This one is quite important, resistances to chaos, which is right next to me, so I can go more defensive, I can go more offensive, I can go critical, depends if I like critical. I don't know how the critical thing works yet, I haven't really tested it. My minions have something like 5% critical, but it might make a difference, I don't know. I might make it, the minions more utility, giving them more area of effect. I might make them more, I will do this is one of the next level is going to go to this skill here, that's why I left it like that, and then I will try to focus a little bit more here. So I can go defensive, I can go offensive. I've got options. That's the thing. And I can also go personally. If I see that I'm running out on my defenses, I can go by this part here of the tree and go to the minions. I can possibly go from the top side here. I can probably, you can do many things. Now you have options. And obviously the gear that I have selected, I've changed them, modified them. I still have the same stuff that I had, level 11 and everything. But I'm using hybrid gear. I try to fix a little bit the resistances. Obviously, as you're going up and up and up, you're going to get minus on the resistances, and At least now the game is more fun. There's no blocking point. And another thing that I wanted to mention, I noticed that as I was playing the game more and more and more, and people need to think about what I'm saying here and stop being fucking morons. As I played the game more, the cruelty difficulty seems much easier. The beginning. Like as soon as you go out of the town and you go to the witch, the ice witch, whatever she's called, and you kill her, she seems much easier. And I'm thinking, why is this? Obviously the difficulty is scaled up and it's balanced as per your level in the area of the enemy's level and everything. The difference between the stage and my level is getting smaller and smaller. So if you pay attention, the stage is like level 47 and I'm level 51. So before it was like 31 something, I was like 36. So there's a less of a difference. So the enemies are supposedly to be tougher, but they're not tougher. I'm having an easier time. I killed this guy here on the graveyard quite much easier, without a huge danger on my life, without a lot of things happening, let's say. And I was trying to think of why that happens, and I think again, like I said, personal opinion, I've pinpointed the balance is what's the problem is. The difficulty also when it comes to the amount of health and everything, but I think the balance of the game has to be fixed different at the beginning and different as you progress. At the beginning you literally walk out with no passive skills, basically holding a stick and a stone. You can't have bosses, uniques and everything behaving with all their animations, the moves and the skills the same way that they're going to behave on cruelty, on endgame, on the maps. You can't have that, because the guy that starts has nothing, first of all. Second of all, if grinding gear games are interested on new players, a new player, a thought in my mind passed that how will the new player that has no idea about, I mean, I've played Path of Exile 1 and everything and I'm still having a hard time. How will a new player approach this? They will get discouraged. You'll put them in the whole process of like, this is like Dark Souls type of a game. Okay, awesome, yeah, let me try to do it. That's not the point. That's not the point, and that's not the feeling that the game should provide. There should be more relaxed, casual gameplay with a lot of versatility, no bad builds, bad skills. When we go to the maps of the end game, how much you can push it, yeah, then we'll start talking about good builds, bad builds, medium builds. Okay, not at the beginning of the campaign. You're just starting and you're getting bombarded. Obviously the dodge was a huge thing because you got stuck a lot. And even in my first video, if you pay attention, at some point I got stuck with a couple of whoops, I got shot. I thought I was going to be able to dodge out of there, but I wasn't. And because I wasn't, the wolves piled up around. Okay, at some point there's no phasing on the dodge. And at some point I got one shot, which again the phasing also might be a good idea on the dodge. Now that I mentioned it, it's not bad. Like, it's not going to overly power your character. You're dodging. Okay, already there's an iframe where you can kind of, if you time it perfectly, negate how it damages. Depends on the duration of the damage. You might as well make it phase. You'll make the life of the other guys easier. They've done a whole calculation of path, calculation stuff. Just make it phase. Just make it phase. You know, I mean, keep things simple. Keep things simple, stupid. Sometimes overly complicating a specific element or a component or a mechanic in the game provides nothing to the experience. So I think that's what the problem is. They need to start with the game on a much more basic, easy level for the guy to be able to pass through at the beginning, have a much more positive experience, including the bosses, and that has to be balanced for all the classes, because I've also noticed that on the bosses I have a much easier time on some bosses in comparison to other people. Some other bosses, it seems as if other builds are better for it. Okay, fair enough, that can be true, because each build will have its strengths and its weaknesses, but not to the point that a specific build will do all the content easily and then get to one boss, like all previous bosses are done, like Klein, and then you go to one specific boss and then it becomes almost unpassable. That means that you have not thought about the interaction and you haven't thought about the engagement of that specific boss with all the different classes. You gotta leave some room. Okay, to give an example, I don't remember the name of the boss, but there's a boss where you go and he starts doing some slimes, and there's four cauldrons on the corners, and when he breaks those cauldrons, that fills up the stage with lava. I'm a summoner, with my sustain is not great. My minions die relatively quick. I have done a little bit defensive on my minions as well. Where am I supposed to stand? Think about a huge area on the screen. I'm ranged. I'm less defensive. My point is to dodge. You left no space for me to dodge other than a little square in the middle. My defenses are based on regeneration, and the fire on the ground negates that. I don't have many potion charges. Okay. What do you do? So the way that I passed that boss was basically did what a melee class would have done. I stayed in the middle. I directed my minions. I was kept on pressing the direction of the minions to be next to the boss, and I started like trying to dodge around him and stuff. But that's a whole, like I had to adapt my game style to like a melee type of person's approach. Now, if a warrior was there, he will not care. You know what I mean? Like think about how easy for a warrior is. He sits in the middle, he hits the boss, fires around him. Oh, okay, just hit it. Charge up the hammer, but one shot. Okay. Just think about how easy the mechanic is, and think about how difficult for a ranger guy that has like less of defenses it is. So the interaction of the boss that kind of negates all the ranged guys. You make a ranged guy go, that's not smart. Possibly leave some little areas. Like if you pay attention on the stage, there's like a line in the middle that you can kind of go and not get damage over time, but that's like a little tight corridor. Widen that out, make a little circle, make it a little bit more evident that somebody can sit there, and I had to dodge from circle to circle, make it a little bit more interesting, you know what I mean? Make it a little bit more that it makes sense. When there's specific mechanics which provides you no response and no action to take in order to mitigate the cleverness, let's say, of the boss, then it shows bad design. That's what I'm saying. Anyway, at the moment now, our difficulty is on Cruel. We're on Act 1. We've done everything. It has become piece as easy. The bloated miller here, she's the first one that I was having a hard time. When I did her on Act 1, I got destroyed. On Act 1, normal difficulty. I got destroyed. I was not able to do her. With the warrior that I played, because I did try a couple of other classes, I tried the ranger again stuff. He was a little bit better. Out of all those, the warrior on her, he was a little bit better. But again, was not able to do it. Now that I went, she's just getting like a lot of damage. I'm getting a lot of defense. I can dodge the skills more and stuff. So it becomes much more easier, and it's something that shows bad design. When I can sit here and I give a 4 out of 10 score on Act 1, 2, 3 and getting stuck on Act 3, and then go to Act 1, which is cruelty, much more difficulty, much more like that, you're expecting that I'm going to have a harder time. And for me to pass through all these, every single boss that I've done here, encountered unique enemies and rares and stuff, it's as simple as easy. Why? Because I've got a couple of more points. Why? Because I was able to buy a couple of gear. Why? Because I've got a little bit more passives. So at the beginning, a suggestion to GGG, when somebody starts at Act 1, maybe make it easy until he gets possibly just an idea, guys. Okay? And this is the point of the videos, to give an idea. Possibly possibly 12 levels, the 12 first levels, 12 to 15 levels, make it piece as easy. From then and on, you can jump the difficulty a little bit. And why I'm saying 12 levels? 12 levels so that you can have enough points at the beginning to possibly go a little bit defense, to possibly buff up your minions, to possibly do something. When you're beginning on level, like that was literally, I was like level 3 there, and you can, like your choice is possibly to, if you're lucky, go to here, for example, or here. How you gonna beat her? You're not. So that's a suggestion. Cruelty difficulty to me now is very, very, more simple, more smart, more easy. I'm able to rush through it, which means that the maps are not making that much of a difference, which in turn might negate what I said at the beginning. The maps are too big. Now the maps seem smaller because the dodge has been fixed. I can go through them, I can kite the enemies quicker, and also because it's the second time that you're playing through the campaign, you kind of know where the map is. You kind of know if there's a secret side quest on this area where you have to look for it. When you're first playing a map, you get more of the sense that I need to uncover everything, because I'm firstly experiencing this. First of all, I want to see the map. Second of all, I want to make sure that I didn't leave anything behind. When you're in that mood, the map is big, and if dodges don't work and stuff. When you're in the mood of, okay, I've played it once, I know where everything is, then you can probably rush a little bit more quicker. You can leave some enemies behind some areas, you know where to go more directly, then okay, that's a different thing. So there might need to be a little bit of change from that aspect. And obviously there's other elements that I'm sure they're going to work out. They have nerfed the Hammer of the Gods, whatever thing it's called. They're doing a lot of balancing things, and obviously it's early access, they're going to do more. Again, as I said, the current state of my rating, I would say 6 and 7, and it can go better, because like 7 is not a bad score. From 7, if early access is a 7, and then it gets fully released and it becomes 8, how much more do you want? You don't have to go 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10 is like perfection. Wow, no game is going to be 10 out of 10. Okay, you want to go 9 out of 10 over time, and over more balances, more classes getting introduced, an extra ascendancy, all these things. Maybe fix the ascendancy, don't hide it behind a mechanic. Maybe have a little bit, you want story driven, put a story into it as per class. You don't have to make 300 story. Let's say all the witches together, all the arcane characters together, all the melee characters together. Make 2 stories separate. It seems as if you rushed. It seems as if you ran out of time, and it shows. And that's why I mentioned the microtransactions in the beginning. It shows. You delete the game for 3 weeks, and then the microtransactions are working. So it seems as if you have a lot on your plate. I don't want to. This towards GGG. I don't want to put you down. You've done a great work. It's an awesome game. It's awesomely visually aesthetic, to the point that I kept on playing it, and that says something about the game. The fact that without me forcing myself, I did kind of like, I gotta grind a little bit. I started playing again. But the fact that it was interesting to me, even doing the Dreadnought stage, because it was nice graphically. As a whole stage, which is moving, I've never experienced that, you know what I mean? It was nice, but it was frustrating, you know what I mean? They fixed the dodge, I thought, okay, now it's a little bit better. I was not getting stuck on the bridges. I was able to backtrack a little bit or forward, you know. It shows that you've got good elements, because I still had the incentive to play, even though it was a repetitive / Dark Souls kind of a process. Once I passed that blocking point, everything became easier again. It climbed up Act 3 boss without reading any guide, without doing anything, with the new approach of my build, which is literally based on one skill, Zelotsov. I'm gonna say it to everybody. It's like, and I don't see many people doing it, you know what I mean? I was able to do the Act 3 boss on the first turn, and this is not of me over exaggerating. On the first attempt, I did him. I have no idea what his skills were, but I was able to sustain, because my life pool was what my life pool is. I was like almost getting one shot. There were some dangerous situations. Okay, first enough, but it excused me. You know what I mean? And now that I've got to the cruelty difficulty, it's much easier, and there's obviously incentive for me to play. So anyway, I think 6 or 7. I'll see what I'll name the title. That's it, guys. That's it. It's a much more positive notion in comparison to the first one, and it will get better, I'm assuming. But don't start, criticizing the content creator because of like a score or something you didn't like or whatever. You know what I mean? Anyway, that's all I wanted to mention. I'd like to thank everybody for your time. Have a good, awesome day. Stay true. Path of Exile 2, baby. We're gonna go good. We're gonna go good. Besides the fucking cancer, which is the community, some of these people, Jesus fucking Christ. Okay, putting that aside, positive, we're going to go good, and we're going to get better at it, as long as everybody inputs. Put ideas. That dodge thing I didn't mention. I didn't even know about it. I didn't even realize it. Somebody said the dodge, they fixed the dodge. It fixed my map issue. You know what I mean? Like, everybody needs to help each other here, okay? We'll go through it, and it can be challenging on certain circumstances, and it can be easy on other circumstances. You don't have to have it like, Anyway, that's about it for me. I'd like to thank everybody. I'll bid you good night, and have a good day. Bye.